तं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। बोलो हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वन मोर टाइम लाउडली। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। क्षिप्रम भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छन्ति निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानी नामे भक्त प्रणश्यति। In the continuation of Bhagavad Gita session, we were hearing what Krishna is saying to Arjun with the commentaries of Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, we heard many details. I'm not going to repeat that. But this verse have connection with the previous verse. So, अपि चे सुदुराचारो भजते माम अन्य भक्त साधु एव समन्तव्यः सम्यक व्यसति ही सहा। Just a brief, because we have connection with the second verse. My attachment to my devotee, even if a man of abominable character engages in ananya bhajan, means one-pointed devotion, exclusive devotion to me, he is still to be considered a sadhu because his intelligence is firmly fixed in bhakti to me. That's the meaning. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains, Krishna wanted to say, my attachment to my devotee is natural. Even if his behavior is degraded, my attachment to him is not lost, and I make him supremely righteous. Sudurachara means that even if he is addicted to killing others, to have illicit relationship, and to being attached to others' wealth, if he engages in bhajan, to being attached, if he engages in bhajan of me, he is surely saintly. What type of bhajan must he perform? In answer to this, Krishna said, he does not worship any demigods. He don't follow any process of karma and jnana and only engage bhakti in me. And who does not desire any happiness such as attaining kingdom, but only desire to attain me. Consider him to be saintly. Okay. A brief of what we heard since 3 or 4 days. Now, Shipram bhavati dharmatma nigachat shashvachanti nigachati kaunteha pratijani name bhakta pranashati. Krishna said, he quickly becomes virtuous and attain eternal peace. O Kaunteya, the son of Kunti, boldly proclaim that my devotee never perish. Prabhu, why are you troubling me to announce this? So far you are speaking. Then you speak this? Why are you asking me to speak this? This is 9th chapter Bhagavad Gita. 1st to 6th chapter is Karma Yoga. Then another 6th chapter is Bhakti Yoga. And the last 6 chapters, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. From 13 to 18, Jnana Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is kept in middle. Something which is very, very valuable is always be kept in middle. So Bhakti Yoga, the conclusion of Krishna is kept in middle. The conclusion is not Jnana Yoga. The conclusion is not Karma Yoga. The conclusion is Bhakti Yoga, which is kept in middle. Or in other words, bhakti yoga in the middle is only with bhakti yoga one can nourish the karma yoga and the jnana yoga. Whereas karma yoga and jnana yoga cannot independently nourish bhakti yoga. So this is bhakti yoga chapter. So far Krishna is speaking. But now Krishna is telling Arjun, you announce this. O Kaunteya, pratijanihi, name bhakta pranashyati. Proclaim everywhere, my devotee never perish. Prabhu, why are you asking me to proclaim? You do. You are Lord. You are Aham Sarvasva Prabhu. You said you are the Lord of everyone. Everything emanates from you. You announce this. No, Arjun. You announce this. And there is a reason why I am telling you that you announce this. Krishna's activity, Krishna's words, everything has some reason. Not without any reason. Everything has some reason. Let us hear what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains in this commentary. The following questions may be raised. How can you accept the service of such an irreligious and unrighteous person? One whose character is bad. Not only bad, but ill behavior. How can you accept the service of such an irreligious and unrighteous person? How can you eat the foodstuffs offered by a person whose heart is polluted by defects such as lust and anger? What is that? जैसा खाए वो अन्न, जैसा खाएंगे अन्न वैसा होगा मन. When Bhishma Pitama was on the bed of arrows, the point of his death, when he was being asked, why you are like this, you would have taken the side of Arjun instead of Duryodhan. But Bhishma said, Bhishma Pitama, who is Mahajan, pure devotee, all knowledge, one amongst the 12 Mahajans, Swambhu Nara Shambhu Kumar Kapila Manu Prahlad Janako Bhishma Bali Vyasaki Vayam. Bhishma Pitama said, this is because I ate the food offered by Duryodhan. And because Duryodhan is wicked and Duryodhan is ill intention, because I ate the grains of Duryodhan, my intelligence got lost. But don't believe these words of Bhishma. That's not correct. He's pure devotee. He's Mahajan. Why is he saying this? Humility. This is humbleness. There are many, many reasons why he took the side of Duryodhan externally, but from his heart he was always with Arjun. There are many reasons. We are not coming to that point right now. But जैसा खाओगे अन्न वैसा होगा मन. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, he used to invite Mahaprabhu every day because his father sent servant and money. And Shri Raghunath Das Goswami is thinking, first he started inviting Mahaprabhu, please come for prasadam. But then he stopped Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu asked his servant Govinda, why Raghunath is not inviting me anymore? Vishe an khailo mani hai man. He said, because Govinda said, because Raghunath is thinking the money of my father is not pure money. He is materialistic person. How can I serve Mahaprabhu with that materialistic money? I can't. Therefore, he stopped using that money even for your service and even for his own eating. Then what he is doing now? Oh, he is standing at the lion gate of Lord Jagannath and asking Viksha. He is begging for Viksha. This is how he is surviving. So this is called Adhikar Bhed. Many details are there. Many details are there, right? But right now we are hearing this point. How can you eat the foodstuffs offered by a person whose heart is polluted by defects such as lust and anger? There's a question being raised. The commentary on this verse by Vishnu Chakra Thakur. Shri Bhagwan answers by speaking this verse, beginning with the word Shipram. You understand the question? How we can eat the foodstuff of this person who is irreligious and who is bad intention and ill behavior, etc. Bhagwan answers by speaking this verse, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. He very quickly become righteous. Bhagwan is saying, he will become righteous. Here the word Shipram means that he quickly become righteous and achieve eternal peace. Bhagwan is saying this. Why? Because he developed some hearing and chanting of my name and my Hari Katha. He's ill-behaved, but that's the potency of my Hari Katha. It's going to work one day or sooner or later. It will come sooner. Shipram, quickly he will become righteous. Now quickly means from person to person, depend on person to person, how quickly it is. Can be one day, can be 1 month, can be 1 year, can be one birth, can be one moment. Ramchandra Kaviraj, he was, Narottam Thakur is saying, Ramchandra Sangamage Narottama Das. He was, no, Ramchandra Kaviraj was sitting on a palanquin going to get married. And he heard one sentence that he's going to embrace a snake. One word only. And his whole life changed. He immediately became renunciate. And there are many examples. If you start counting, we have so many examples. Yesterday, 2 days back, we heard about Ungri Mal, that person who used to kill people. Just one small little lecture, and he changed. Remember we heard the example of that dacoit called Ungri Mal? He got changed. Valmiki got changed. Bilmangal Thakur, by hearing the words of prostitute, Chintamani, changed. And there are many examples like this. Thousands and thousands and thousands of examples. One moment. So Krishna is saying, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma, Shashvat Shanti Nigachati, Kaunteha Prati Jani, Name Bhakta Pranashati. Krishna is saying, what was the question? How can you accept the service of such an irreligious and unrighteous person? How can you eat the foodstuffs offered by a person whose heart is polluted by defects such as lust and anger? That is the question. Vishnu Chakra Thakur is saying, raising this question. Bhagwan answers by speaking this verse. He very quickly become righteous and achieve eternal peace. The word bhavati and nigachati are used in the present tense instead of the future tense. Now, those who know Sanskrit, the verses, the shlokas are not just to complete the verse, they add some words in that. Especially when Krishna is speaking this. Ekam Shastram Devki Putra Geetam. What is the meaning Gita? Gita comes from the word Geet. What does Geet mean? Geet means song. If you know little Hindi, even if you know one word, Geet means song, right? Like we have this song book. It's called Gaudiya Geeti Guch. So the word is Geet. Why we say Gita? Krishna sang this song. So singing song means Geet. It should be Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. But the word is Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. It has significance. It is not just why we add the word A in the last. Ta. What is the meaning of that ta? The song sung by Bhagwan. Ta means Tran. Tran means for deliverance. The song which is sung by Krishna for delivering others. That is the word ta. Otherwise, the word is Geet. Geet means song, but Gita, that song which delivers. It gives us moksha, it gives us liberation, it gives us deliverance from repeated birth and death. Deliverance from agyan, ignorance. This is Bhagavad Gita. That's why the word is Bhagavad Gita, not Geet. So Krishna is singing here and telling the words Bhavati, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. The word Bhavati and Nigachati are used in the present tense instead of the future tense. What is the significance if it is used present tense? This proves that immediately after engaging in irreligious or abominable activity, he laments and remembers Krishna again and again. That's the word. That is why it is used present tense. Now, parallel to his bad behavior, he's also engaged in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Now, which is more powerful? Is bad behavior more powerful? Or the topics of Krishna more powerful? Okay. So the bad behavior is covering those topics. Means the potency. But potency cannot be covered. It is very powerful. With the effect of that high potential, there are so many wires. You have this, what do you call, cable. Some cable coming, joining electricity to your house. But there is some which is called powerhouse. They have high potential cable. Just try to touch that. No, don't try. I'm just telling you. What will happen? Blast. In 1 second, turn to ashes. High potential. Satang prasangam mam virja samvido. Bhavanti hit karna rasayana katha. Kapil Bhagwan telling Mother Devati, Canto 3, Srimad Bhagavatam. Satang prasangam mam virja samvido. My Hari Katha is full of potency. So with that potency, the ill behavior get destroyed, turn to ashes. So Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Bhavati, present tense means he will lament. While be in bad behavior, he will lament for that. That lamentation helps him to overcome this situation and engages his time in serving Hari, Guru, Vaishnava. Okay. In this way, he quickly becomes righteous. Alas, alas, there is nobody fallen like me, who has brought such infamy to bhakti? This a person thinks. There's no one, nobody fallen like me. Fie on me, fie on me. Repeatedly lamenting in this way, he attains eternal peace. He will realize one day and then lament for that. Fie on me of my bad behavior. He attains eternal peace. Even if he eventually becomes righteous, irreligiosity and contamination may remain in him in a subtle form. And even if he eventually becomes righteous, irreligiosity and contamination may remain in him in a subtle form. The deadly heat of fever or poison may remain for some time, even after taking the best medicine. Just like a medicine, very bitter and so much heat, so much uh, painful, but the deadly heat of fever, someone has fever 104, the deadly heat of fever or poison may remain for some time, even after taking the best medicine. Here the best medicine is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. But fever is also there, contamination is also there, irreligiosity is also there, and medicines is also there. Both are going simultaneously. Such a fight is going on. A big battle is going on. Mahabharata is going on inside with two different perspectives. Who wins? Always Krishna wins. And Arjun, pure devotee, wins. But what this sloka has significance? Okay. Similarly, as soon as bhakti enters the mind of such a person, his evil conduct ceases. We have to give him a space. Krishna is giving space, I mean. Krishna is not like us. Immediately taking judgment and kill that person. This is our judgment. You stupid rascal, kill it. Kill him. Krishna is giving space. Wait. I want to see. Okay. As soon as bhakti enters the mind of such a person, his evil conduct ceases. Though it may remain in a subtle form for some time. It will remain in a subtle form. Later, in a higher state, indications of poor behavior, such as lust and anger, may exist, but they will have no influence, just like a snake whose poisonous fangs have been removed and whose poison is thus ineffective. Bhakti Gyan Bharati Maharaj Ji used to give example of this one snake, very deadly, poisonous snake, cobra, used to come out from his hole and bite people. Everyone was so much upset, angry, and terrified with his influence. And sometimes they come with a stick and stones and beat the snake. And then he go back to his hole. But that was his ill behavior. As a snake, his nature conduct to bite. Once upon a time, Naraji came there. And snake trying to bite Naraji. Naraji, no fear. Okay? If it pleases you, because Sarvuteshu Apashyat, seeing his Lord everywhere and present in the heart of everyone. Vishwa Sarvbhutanam Hide, Drishtu Arjun, Krishna, sorry, Paramatma in the heart of everyone. With the words of Naraji, snake changed. Narad said, why you biting people? Why you troubling them? What harm they doing to you? Be sober, be nice. Stop this tendency. He changed the nature of snake and he became very sober. But as a habit, he comes out from his hole to eat something, and the people now they don't know the snake has changed. So they come with a stick and beat him. But now he's not biting anyone. He's getting those hits. He's accepting those hits by them, but he's not even raising his hood to bite them. And his whole body got blood. He went inside the hole. Again he comes out, people see him, beat him. But he's not retaliating anything, he's not saying anything. And this is going on again and again. One day Naraji came, so the snake is totally broken, blood is coming out from his body. Naraji asked, what happened? He said, because of your association, I changed myself. But because of my previous bad habits of biting people, killing them, they all think I'm still the same snake, and I'm coming out from the hole to bite them, to give trouble to them. But that's not my intention anymore. I'm coming out to eat something, and now they're beating me. But because of your association, I took a vow. I was not going to bite anyone, and I'm getting all those hits on me, but I'm not saying anything to anyone. Naraji said, I told you not to trouble people. I didn't tell you to not to do self-defense. Why don't you understand the complete purpose? This is what happened to us. We hear one line and oh, that's it. We have to hear what is said before and what is said later. Then the conclusion comes. If anybody only hearing Karma Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga and come to the Jnana Yoga, that the conclusion of Krishna? The conclusion is kept in the 6th chapter, which is in middle. Sometimes someone devotee come with a question. Priya Bhagavatamrita. Maharaj, why it is written like this? Are Baba, just by reading one line, how can you conclude? You have to see what the acharyas have begun saying. What is the flow going on, and what is said later. You can't just judge with one statement. So Shastras have to be understood like this, not just by one statement. What is said before, what is said later. Naraji said you didn't understood. I gave you my association. I told you not to trouble people. But I didn't told you that you don't even have to do self-defense. Snake said, what do you mean? Naraji said, for your defense, to save yourself, you should raise your hood. But that's for your self-defense, not to kill them, not to bite them. If you raise your hood like this, then they will run away. And you can eat whatever you want. Just like a snake whose poisonous fangs have been removed and whose poison is thus ineffective. This is how this lust, anger remains in a subtle form, but it has no any influence on the person. Because Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Very soon he will become righteous. This should be understood. Thus, his lust and anger are eternally cooled, shantim, in a way that is unparalleled. His lust and anger, everything will be eternally cooled, destroyed. In a way, how it is destroyed? Unparalleled. Because I am the one behind this, Krishna saying. He should be considered to possess a pure heart, even while in conditions in which he still behaves inappropriately. Again, he should be considered to possess a pure heart, even while in a condition in which he still behaves inappropriately. This is commentary by Srila Vishnu Chakur Thakur. Now further, Srila Sridhar Swami, not Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Maharaj. Sri Sridhar Swami, who was even prior to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hundreds of years prior to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu used to say, Swami ki na mane se Vaishya sam. In Chaitanya Chaitamrit, Sri Vallabh Bhatt, the narration of Vallabh Bhatt, very detailed. I mean, we are not going to that. But he was not accepting the commentaries of Sridhar Swami. And Mahaprabhu didn't like this idea. Mahaprabhu announced this. Mahaprabhu said, Swami ke jana mane. Those who don't follow the Swami, means Sridhar Swami commentary, they are prostitutes. Say Vaishyasam. Mahaprabhu used to love the commentaries of Sridhar Swami. He did commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. Prior to any other commentary, Sridhar Swami. Mahaprabhu used to love that. So, that's a little brief introduction. Srila Sridhar Swami says that if such a person becomes religious or righteous, you know what we're speaking on, what kind of person? One who is bad behavior, ill behavior. So Sridhar Swami says that if such a person becomes religious or righteous, then there is no argument. But what can be said of a devotee who is unstable to give up such bad behavior right up to the time of death? A good question. He's raising this question. Understand the question? Again, Sridhar Swami Path said, if such a person to whom we are speaking about becomes religious or righteous, then there is no argument. Oh, we have no argument. Oh, before he was like this. Now he's improved. He's very good. Before he used to eat meat. He used to drink all the time, every day. 31st December Eve party and drinking and out. But his friends used to bring him from the club, etc. Just giving an example. Yeah. So now he becomes religious, righteous. Then there is no argument. But, more worse scenario. What can be said of a devotee who is unable to give up such bad behavior right up to the time of death? Then what to do with this? What to do with him? In response to this, Bhagavan strongly and angrily says, oh, now Bhagavan is strong and angrily he's speaking this. Kauntya prati jani name bhakta pranashyati. Don't you understand this? Krishna is angry. Even when he dies, he does not fall. But those who speak harshly against him due to poor logic will not accept this. Krishna strongly and angrily saying this. What is he saying? Even when he dies, he does not fall. Kauntya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Even if he dies, he does not fall. But those who speak harshly against him due to pure logic will not accept this. Thinking like this, Krishna spoke words of encouragement to Arjuna, who was overwhelmed with grief and doubt. Same like us. We can be in grief and doubt. But what Krishna has, he has his own dimension, his own perspective of seeing and calculating his things, and we have our own with our limited understanding and mind. But sometimes some people think they're very intelligent. Some people think they're very intelligent, they're very mature, and they understand everything. Stop it. You're not reading scriptures. You don't know what is commentaries about those Bhagavatam, Gita. You're not going to read any commentaries and you conclude with your authority. Is your mind is the authority? Is your words are the authorities? We don't believe this. We will believe the authority of our acharyas giving conclusion. Time, place, circumstance. No, Gurudev said one time like this. Gurudev said one time like this. Guru said other thing, other time. To whom he is addressing? That has to be considered. Which place? What is the time? To whom is speaking about? Everything has to be considered. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, told everyone to shave your heads, be clean. And he said, this is stool on your head, this hair. Clean. I follow Prabhupada. I follow Prabhupada. Prabhupada, everything. Prabhupada is authority. Then I want to keep different kind of hairstyles. Prabhupada said, shave your head. But with a special circumstance, he did also said someone to not to shave. So much maturity needed to understand. So much maturity. When George Harrison, who had long hairs, he also asked Srila Prabhupada, you're telling everyone to shave your head. I also want to. He said, no, leave it like this. Your hairs are serving Krishna. Your identity is a media to serve Krishna. Understand? So there are so many reasoning you have to understand from the perspective of our Acharya, what role he's playing and where he's been said, to whom he's saying, to whom he's addressing. Maturity. Thinking like this, Krishna spoke words of encouragement to Arjuna, who was overwhelmed with grief and doubt, as do we, me. O Kaunteya, while making a tumultuous sound with kettle drums, go to the assembly of those who dispute this. Now, I didn't write this. Sridhar Swami giving commentary. But Krishna told to Arjun, Arjun, go to the assembly of those who dispute this, who have trouble in their mind to understand and resolve this. Go in their assembly. And Kaunteya, while make a tumultuous sound with kettle drums, kartal, and mridanga, go to the assembly of those who dispute this, raising both your arms in the air and being free from any doubt. Declare that a devotee of mine is never destroyed. Okay. Even if he is poorly behaved, my devotee never destroyed. Go in the assembly of those who don't believe these words. I'm saying this. Krishna is telling, I'm saying this. Rather, he becomes successful. Devotee of mine is never destroyed even if he is poorly behaved. Rather, he becomes successful. In this way, all their illogical words will be destroyed by your eloquence, and they will definitely take shelter of you, accepting you as their guru. This is what Krishna wanted. Okay. Krishna wanted Arjun to become Dharmatma. Dharmatma means like a great soul. Great soul means guru. That's why he wanted Arjun, you to announce this. not me. Because if you will announce this, they will all worship you like Guru. You become Guru. So Krishna is giving more importance to Arjun. He wanted Arjun to act like a Guru. Go in the assembly of those who dispute this and speak with your arm. What he said? Both your arms in the air and being free from any doubt. Declare that. I'm saying this. The devotee of mine is never destroyed, even if he is poorly behaved. Rather, he becomes successful. Hmm? In this way, all their illogical words will be destroyed by your eloquence, and they will definitely take shelter of you, accepting you as their guru. Here, the following objection may be raised. Again, one objection. Why is Bhagwan asking Arjun to make this declaration instead of making it himself? Why Arjun, you? As Bhagwan says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman paritajya mam ekam sharanam vrajaha aham tvam sarpapebhyo mokshyami ma shuchaha. You will surely attain me in truth. I am taking this vow because you are very dear to me. You will surely attain me. No, this verse is Man mana mad bhakto madhyaji man namaskar. In the last, Krishna said, Priyosmi me. You are very dear to me. This is my promise to you. I am Satya Sankalpa. I am the all truth one. You will surely attain me. So why does Bhagwan not say, O Kaunteya, I declare that my devotee is never lost? Why does Bhagwan not say? Why is asking Arjun to say this declaration? This. In response, it is said that Bhagwan had pondered. I cannot tolerate. Oh, Bhagwan is so angry here. Too much. You understand the question? Why Arjun was being asked to declare this? Why not Bhagwan? Because Bhagwan had pondered. I cannot tolerate even the slightest insult to my devotees, and therefore, in many instances, I myself break my own vow, even though consequently, I have to receive insults. I don't mind breaking my vow, even though I got through many insults. In this way, I protect the words of my devotee, just as I will protect the words of Bhishma in this battle by breaking my own vow. I can do anything to save the vow of my devotee. But if my vow goes in vain, I don't mind much. And I've gone through many insults like that, Krishna is saying. But those who are non-devotees will laugh at my vow to desist from fighting. Because Krishna said, I will not fight. But I hold this weapon to kill Bhishma. I got insulted. But the words of Arjun will be like marks etched in stone. That's it. The words of Arjun will be like marks etched in stone. For this reason, Krishna made Arjun to take this vow. Having heard about the Ananya Bhakti of such an ill-behaved person, some will understand this to mean that an one-pointed bhakta is merely one who has no irreligious qualities, such as lamentation, delusion, and anger, all of which arise from attachment to wife, children, and so forth. But such an explanation by so-called scholars should be totally rejected. Totally rejected. Again, having heard about the Ananya Bhakti, one-pointed devotion of such an ill-behaved person, some will understand this to mean that an Ananya Bhakta means one pointed devotee is merely one who has no irreligious qualities such as lamentation, delusion, and anger, all of which arise from attachment to wife, children, and so forth. Such an explanation by so-called scholars should be rejected. Krishna overruled that. Forget about them. Follow what I am saying. Kauntya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati shipram bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will become, very soon, shipram. Yeah. No. Today already 2 hours. You already heard. But now Srila Gurudev also commenting further on this. Just taking one verse and then I'm going to finish. This is verse from Bhagavatam. Sapad mulo bhajete priyasya tapta bhavasya hari parishah tapta anya bhavasya hari parishah vikarmo yaj patitam kathanchit dhunoti sarvam hidi swanustitah. 11.5.42. It is not possible for those premi bhaktas who engage in exclusive bhajan to lotus feet of Krishna, having given up all other thoughts, faiths, and activities, to engage in sinful activities. It's not possible. However, if somehow or other they do, then by sitting in their heart, Shri Hari cleans everything and makes their heart pure. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad also said, Nishid acharato daivat prayaschitam tu nochitam iti Vaishnav Shastranam rahasyam tad vidham matam. Rupa Goswami further saying, if by a fate a sadhaka engages in a forbidden act, then it is not proper for him to atone for it separately, because the influence of bhakti performs the function of atonement. Separate atonement is not necessary. This is a secret of the Vaishnava literature. Oh, I did something wrong. I should now do something. No need. Just follow the same process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Hearing, chanting, worshipping. Navvida Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasya, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. Iti Pumsam, Arpita Vishnu, Bhakti, Chanavlakshana. That's all. That's the conclusion. And it is also mentioned in Bhagavatam, Yadi kurjad pramadena yogi karma vigharitam yogi neva dahed amo nanya tatra kadachan. A bhakti yogi never engages in an abominable act, but if at some time he commits an offense inadvertently, then he should destroy this sin solely by the process of bhakti yoga. He should not take to other difficult atonements such as Chandrayan. Now a question may come in our heart. Maybe this is mentioned about pure devotees, not for those who are on a pyramid stage, sadhakas like us. While commenting on this verse, the answer of this, Srila Vishnu Chakur Thakur writes, what to speak of pure devotees in whose hearts bhav have already manifested? Even those who are in the preliminary stage of sadhana bhakti become successful and blessed, not to mention those who are gradually attaining the stages of Nishtha and Bhav. Even in the preliminary stage of sadhana bhakti become successful and blessed. That's the power of, that's the power of, that's the potency of Bhakti Yoga to Krishna. In Karma Yoga, in Jnana Yoga, this facility is not present. In Bhakti Yoga, how much more Krishna can be generous than this? How can he be more than this? The extreme of loving and affection nature for us. And what we are giving to Krishna in return, what services we are performing to Krishna in return, to understand this. What is my services to him? How I'm serving him? And one way or the other, we all are very fallen and conditioned. Kabhu naam aparad, sada naam aparad, kabhu naam abad. Every time chanting with offenses. But bhakti reva nayati, bhakti reva darshati, bhakti vash purusho, bhakti reva bhuyasi. Only by performing bhakti yoga, never giving up the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, whatsoever happen in the life, by hearing this Bhagavad Gita since from 25 December 25, Krishna is showing so much love and affection. Don't want to leave us. Why we have to leave Krishna then? What more we learn? There is no other atonement required. Just continuing with our chanting, hearing and chanting, which is very powerful. We are taking this as very lightly, but it's not that. Janma koti sukrit mein labbai. From many, many lifetimes, heaps of sukritis, we are today hearing such high-class philosophy. And according to our own individual capacities, we are trying to surrender slowly, gradually, falling, again getting up, again falling, again getting up. We know our goal and we also know our shortcomings. We're giving more focus on Bhakti Yoga. This 1 year already finished, a new year has begun. Let's say from solar calendar, year 2020-21, we can say, let's say English style, whatever it is. But in Hindi, in India, we have one phrase saying, "Jab jago tabhi savera." Jab jago tabhi savera means when a person opens his eyes, the day is there. Sun has risen. Means when the eyes are open, every day is a new year. Every day is a new day for the bhakti. But we have to remember, at the end of this year, Gelo je divas na sive yaar, ebe Krishna ki upar. Gelo je divas na sive yaar, ebe Krishna ki upar. The day which has gone, the year which has gone, will never come back again. 2020 will not come back again. And we also don't want that 2020 should come again. Beginning of New Year. The beginning of new year means for the devotee, beginning of new life. It can be any day, any moment. Overcoming the shortcomings and giving up those bad habits start from new. Krishna is ready. So the auspicious 2021, starting with the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, 2nd January, and then Srila Gurudev. Why 2021 is auspicious? Because it's centennial year of Srila Gurudev. More and more remembrance of Gurudev, more and more we can read about him, hear about him. There will be going to be many online classes or festivals. Let's see, according to the situation, we already had so many plans for the next year. And everything was been decided, we'll do this, we'll do that, but the whole world came to stagnant. But let's see, gradually things are developing. And let's see how many festivals we can hold in different countries. But of course, if not, then we have online, the use of technology. Glory thanks Srila Gurudev to hear about him, to speak about him, to remember him with full maturity and proper understanding. I'm requesting all devotees to help me so that I can understand my thing, to help me so that I can understand his instruction, and pray for me so that I can actually follow him. I'm very weak and I'm not able to follow him nicely. So just all of your prayers definitely going to help. I have faith in your prayers. I have not faith in myself. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpurvachya kripa sindhuvya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. No matter wherever you are, je deshe deshe gaurang garegam Buddha bahu kari karo sabara. Which country, which town, which village you are, just all of you pray for me. Hare Krishna. See you soon.